It is Tuesday, August 26th, 6:30 p.m., and seeing that we have a quorum here, I call the meeting of the Capital Outlay Committee. And this evening, we are meeting at Norwood Town Hall, 566 Washington Street in the FinCon room, and we're also being recorded for NCM for future broadcasts. This evening, we have a full agenda, which includes approval of our August 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. We have a presentation of the FY26 capital projects and funding source breakdown for FY26. We have a review of the debt schedule with the finance department. We have the draft 5-year plan, FY26 to 30 capital improvement plan. And before we end this evening, we're going to schedule our next meeting and determine the agenda items for that meeting. Want to welcome a variety of folks in here who are joining us, and we thank them for being here. We have department heads from public safety, DPW, facilities, water, recreation, library, schools IT, and we're also joined by Jeff and Alex from the finance department. Did I miss anybody? I see Steve from the energy department is here, and Ernie Pajikowski, our member of our capital outlay committee, is online with us as well. Did I get everybody? All right. Welcome. So this evening is not a voting meeting. It's another meeting. It's a continuation of our deliberation of the capital outlay plan. We had the benefit earlier this month to have our walking tour of vehicles in the parking lot, as well as seeing the information up close at the library regarding the issues that it is facing. And this evening we're going to have the presentation of the 26 plan. We have our department heads here for discussion, and they can speak to their various items, and members of course are welcome to interject with any questions and clarifications as needed. And after we're done with that, we all have the finance information here, and that's going to tell us the detail that we should be considering for the source of funding for the FY26 capital outlay plan. But before we start all that, I think the first item of business is the approval of the August 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a seconded by Eric? And this will be a voice vote since we are online. Running on the table, Kevin Connolly.
Aye.
David Tuttle.
Yes.
Ann Haley.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Ernie.
I abstain. I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay. We passed that unanimously. I got everybody right? I don't have
No.
Except yourself.
Except
Yeah.
me. I will vote A as well.
Yeah,
Thank you, Vice Chair.
But it is not a unanimous vote.
We'll call it a 0 to
One abstention.
1 abstention. All right, with that, we can go with the item B, presentation of the FY26 capital projects and funding source breakdown for 26. Mike, whenever you're ready, you can display it on the
Yep.
on the screen. And again, here's your opportunity. Detail will be displayed on the screen. It's an opportunity for folks on the committee to ask further questions of the proposed projects.
Sure. Before we get started, Mel, are you able to switch out the document to, thank you. So actually Mel's helping us drive from home today. Perfect. If you just go up one slide from there. Thank you very much, Mel. So good evening, everybody, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and thank you to all the staff that are here as well. Thank you for your support on this. This is our annual presentation to the Capital Outlay Committee of the presentation you see here is going to mainly focus on the FY26 assets, but later on in the agenda there's an opportunity through the report section to really ask any questions you may have on any of the 5 years of the 5-year plan. But this presentation again just focuses on the FY26 assets. So starting off with sort of how did we get here, and I think most of the people on this committee have been here before, but just in case, generally after the May town meeting ends, we go right from operating mode into capital mode, and starting the first week in June, town departments start getting together in what we call staff capital, and what I call bi-weekly meetings. I think we do maybe 3 or 4 of them over the course of June and July. But we sit down, we look at the 5-year plan, we look at last year's outlook on what year 2 of the plan was going to be, and if anything has changed since then. Projects do get added, projects do come off based on condition and need, and we try to put together the best plan we can to present a capital outlay that does have funding source recommendations that we're recommending to you for your consideration. And generally, after you look at the capital plan, it then goes on its merry way to the selectmen, the FinCom, and then eventually town meeting, and ultimately town meeting in November. This year is November 13th. Well, we're expecting it to be November 13th. The selectmen haven't voted it yet, but town meeting will vote on recommendations for the appropriations for the assets that you see. But before we get there, we have to go through the meeting tonight and talk about what these different assets are, and again, sort of where we go. So the rest of the presentation, the slideshow, is going to be 1 page per project. These should look familiar because these were on the spreadsheet version of the capital plan that you've seen a couple of times now in our last 2 meetings. There may have been some small changes since the last meeting, so we'll highlight those. But we'll start with the airport. And again, as the chair said, we'd recommend that if questions are coming up on any specific project during the slideshow, let's address it slide by slide rather than wait till the end, because those departments are here in the room and we'd love to address your questions as we're going through the project. So first project on the list, and I believe these are actually in alphabetical order by department, so there's no magic here, it's just airport happens to start with letter A. So airport, there's 2 projects this year. There's an airport runway extension. It's for runway 1735, and this project would correct a safety deficiency that by paving the 2 existing safety areas off the approach and departure ends of the runway. I mentioned this at the last meeting, but the $300,000 price tag is the town's portion of the project. The FAA is covering the remaining 95% of the project. So the $300,000 is just our chunk of the overall project. The Department of the Airport's Director, Mark Raymond, is not here tonight, but I wasn't sure if there's any questions I can either relay to him that we haven't already addressed. So I'll leave it at that for this project.
Just
yes,
to clarify, okay, so the area they're gonna pave is the grass beyond the existing pavement.
Yes, beginning
Yes.
and the end.
Yeah, so it's not the paved area, it's beyond the paved area, okay. And that, by paving that, that's the safety improvement, doesn't effectively lengthen the runway or anything like that, it's just for safety improvement.
I believe so.
That's correct.
I'm
That's
actually,
correct.
we're very fortunate that Mark used, thank
Yeah,
you.
it doesn't change the identification of the runway on its length, and class of aircraft and size of aircraft will not change. It's just a safety runoff area.
And that is something that FAA is asking us to do, or to keep us in compliance, is that the idea?
I think my recollection when Mark Raymond has told us about this, Mark, is that there are certain weather conditions that could contribute to aircraft overshooting the runways and the safety areas. They land in the safety areas, and it's beneficial for safety purposes that those safety areas be paved.
Yeah, I mean, the aircraft could be damaged. It's not usable for a good part of the year. When snow comes, they don't plow it, so that's not even available during the winter months. And then in the spring, when it gets wet, it just becomes a mud field, so it's really not usable during the months of March, April, and part of May. So this will just pave it, just be a solid surface that if there is a longer distance needed when landing, they can just go to that safety area there.
So this is being driven by the town's experience,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
not by coming from down
No.
above, it's ours, okay, thank you.
Okay, Mel, I think we're ready for the next slide. The next project for the airport is helipad lighting. This would install 9 lights to the north and south helicopter parking circles. There is no lighting in these areas currently, which is unsuitable for night landing and takeoffs. Again, similar to the last project, the $17,500 price tag is the town's component portion. The overall project is probably about 90 to 95% larger than that, so it's just a small percentage of the overall project. And I forgot to mention, this project and the last one, we're both recommending to fund for free cash. Actually, most of the projects you're going to see tonight are free cash, except for the ones we'll highlight as otherwise.
And again, what's driving this one?
Definitely not, Mark.
Safety, the airport identified it as a safety concern because there's no lighting. So if a helicopter does want to land there at night or take off, there's no lighting to illuminate the area. So we identified that as a safety issue, and that's on the master plan, and we're just following through with the master plan.
So again, it's a safety improvement, I'm not expecting to have additional traffic because of it.
No, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mel. Okay, now we're entering facilities projects. The first one is a $3 million project for roof repairs, specifically at the Willett School. We're recommending to be a borrowing project, obviously for both the large dollar amount and the length of time, the useful life of this project. We had some good pictures taken here. I'm not sure if the screen does it justice, but of the leaking that's currently happening at the Willett School. And this $3 million project is the first of, I believe, Paul, 4 years that we're recommending $3 million each year for 4 years for different schools or different buildings. This first one is clearly in the most immediate need at the Willett School. If there are any specific questions, I don't know if Mr. Riccardi, if you'd be comfortable answering those, but
Yeah.
all right, excellent, thank you.
When was the roof replaced the last time?
All the roofs at the elementary schools are approaching 30 years. So they give you a 20-year warranty.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
10 years past that. The Willett is the roof in the toughest condition. It's not currently leaking, but we're spending a lot of money sending a roofer up there all the time. The membrane is getting so thin that it just keeps cracking. So it really needs to be done. And more importantly, the Willett next year is being
Brought up
converted to an
to,
elementary
yeah.
school. So it'll be a longer school day. Probably the same amount of kids in the building, but it really is the one roof that is in the worst condition out of all the school buildings.
So is this just repairs, or is this replacing the
No,
whole
this is
thing?
replacement.
All right,
Okay.
I can change that wording.
The roof has, because when it was done, it's an abatement job, because on the flashing and stuff, there's asbestos in there, so that raises the price of roofing, but roofing has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
We're hoping it comes in less, but this is what a roofing consultant told us to put in.
So we're going to just take the whole roof off?
Yes.
And then that requires, don't you have like air conditioning units and stuff like that on top?
No, there's no
You don't?
central air conditioning in any of the elementary schools. The Willett has window shakers, window air conditioning units
Okay.
in all of them, so it's a pretty flat, clean roof to do.
Okay,
I mean, there's exhaust vents up there, but that's about it.
all right.
What will be the lifespan for the new roof? How many years?
Well, we've got 30 years out of this one, so I would hope we'll spec a heavier gauge. If you think of a pool liner,
Mhm.
there's all different gauges of roofing membrane. We'll ask for a heavier gauge, spec it out on the bids. And our hope is, if we get past the committee, get past town meeting, the design happens over the winter, it goes out to bid, and we can start this even before school gets out, because we'll be up on the roof while the kids are in the building. It's relatively quiet. From a construction point of view, it's relatively quiet work.
Any idea how long it would take to replace it?
I would say a good month in duration, 4 to 6 weeks maybe.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to ask a finance question. Seeing that it is a 30-year roof, roughly 20 years, why are we paying cash for it instead of, no,
This is borrowing.
borrow? Okay,
Why-
I misheard. Thank you. However,
No, it's a borrowing project.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Mel, for switching the slide. So the next project is study of HVAC at the elementary schools. The only bullet here just kind of says that schools could use upgrades to their HVAC systems, and this would be a study, an overall study of all the elementary schools don't have to say more flavor, Paul, that we can add to that for the time. But that picture there just kind of shows how old some of the units are in the schools currently, or maybe Sean Mannion want to weigh in on that too.
So just to put it in perspective, with the opening of the Coakley and moving the 5th grade up there, we now have grades 5 through 12 in environmentally controlled buildings. K through 4 are still in buildings that don't have central air. The Willard has window air conditioning units, but temperatures in the Callahan, the Balch, the Oldham, the Prescott can get up over 95 degrees, and that's not even counting the humidity. So it's really, we can all say we went through places like that and survived, but times are different now, kids are different, and it's not conducive. Starting in May and ending in October, it's just not conducive to be in those buildings and try to teach. So this study will take a look at all of the elementary schools and come up with a plan to, and a time frame and a cost to install central air conditioning, HVAC in all buildings.
Paul, you've got out years, about 3.3 million dedicated to the actual projects for HVACs. Those numbers obviously can change based on.
They can change, yeah, exactly.
Any other questions about the HVAC study at the schools?
At the study, no.
All right, Mel.
Next project is carpeting and other flooring replacement for the public safety building, $65,000, free cash recommendation. So this carpet that's shown here is original to the early 2000s. Carpet is reaching the end of its useful life. Obviously, police and fire departments are 24/7, all-weather, all year-long operations, and wear and tear is significant. And it's pointed out too that as carpet does age, it begins to cause mold and air quality issues. So this $65,000 would go a long way to repairing that.
That sounds like it's carpet that's original to the building then.
It is,
Yeah.
it is original copy.
And
And I'm talking,
Can we get rid of the rug and have tiles of some sort in there? I mean,
Some parts of the building are actually tile. The majority of the building is probably actually tile. Some of the office space has carpet.
okay,
You know what? It's always been there.
yeah.
And I don't know, do you know what's underneath?
that's cement floor.
Cement floor. So you'd incur, I would guess, a cost at least to replace something as opposed to just having a concrete floor.
And think about, on the fire department side, below the 3rd floor offices and everything is the apparatus bay, which the doors are open a fair amount of time all year round, and nothing but cold air in the wintertime is coming in. So the carpet does give a little bit more warmth. And besides the 24 with police and fire, the HVAC systems in this building, which we're doing hopefully the final one for a while, we've had a lot of workmen walking through and carrying stuff and knocking things down and adjusting things. So these carpets have taken an extra beating over the years.
I assume it's a little bit quieter with carpet than
Yes,
the
certainly.
floor, which is probably more conducive for an office environment.
it's an office, but it's a working building, so, it's,
Well, that
makes
was my
sense. Yeah.
thought, is
Yeah.
that it's a working building and they have people, going back and forth all the time. And I just thought maybe a tile would be better for you.
A lot of the spaces are tile.
Yeah.
The working spaces, the roll call rooms, like on the police side,
Yeah.
the hallways, but, the office spaces, it probably wouldn't work out as well,
Okay,
so.
all right.
Our carpeting is in the administrative section of the building. It's
Yeah.
not in the general flow area. It's not in any of the bunks or
Yeah.
in those hallways, so.
Okay,
The training room as well, that's another space that's carpeted.
yeah.
You know, you really wouldn't be able to run every time you move chairs around and just noisy, things like that.
Any other questions? All right.
All right, our next project is a little interesting because of the funding sources. So this is kitchen appliance replacement at the Civic Center. What we're recommending is a 50-50 split of $25,000 in free cash being used and $25,000 to come out of the recreation revolving fund to pay for this. So what this is, as you can see from some of these photos here, the rec center has a kitchen. It has not had any significant renovations since the building opened in the early 80s. The cabinets and the appliances are all outdated and failing. And we do use this area for recreational programs for all ages, and it's actually rising in popularity. There are more events, more programs, more meetings that use the kitchen now. I know Breakfast with Santa uses it. I'm sure Sam has some other good examples, but it's getting more use. And so in light of the fact that the rec themselves use this, and not just facilities, that's why we're recommending $25,000 come from the rec revolving fund to help pay for this. If there's any specific questions, hit us.
So, my question, because at one time I used to work at the rec department
Right.
many years ago. We're actually using it as a kitchen.
Yes, that's correct. Yep, and as Mike
Okay.
said, we do have a lot more programs that are using it. We now host AA on Saturday nights that do use it. Birthday parties have been using it, which we do from early January to mid-spring every Saturday. Every birthday party uses it, and then such as events like Breakfast with Santa, we use it for the special someone dance. So it is heavily used.
Okay, so we are committing money to the building, so I'm assuming that we are committing to the structure as is, as the rec department, because I was hearing rumors.
You've got a lot of renovation going on over the last 5 years at the rec center.
Yes,
in the locker
yeah.
room, so I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
you continue to invest in the civic center.
Gotcha, yes. So this would more be just, upgrading appliances. And honestly, as you can see, I mean, even with the cabinets, they're old. We don't even need that much storage. Really, ideally, we'd like less storage and to make more space for programs and usage.
Okay, thank you.
I really like the idea of you using program revenue, since it's the programs that are utilizing the kitchen quite a bit, so that's a nice connection there. And I wish we knew about this early. We could have had Sam cook us a meal and go see the condition
I
of
don't
the
know if you
kitchen.
want that.
Concluded as part of our chore.
Well, while we're talking about kitchens, our next project is kitchen appliance replacement at the senior center for $100,000. The equipment in the current senior center has been in use since 2009. As you can see, it's also approaching the end of its useful life. This would be to replace the equipment, including the dishwasher, the fridge, and the oven. And for people that may have been down at the senior center for any of their lunches that they do, these are very heavily utilized. This is a very heavily utilized kitchen. It's commercial grade in a lot of ways, so this is, they pump out a lot of meals from there. So, if there's any specific questions on this one.
Any questions?
I can say that they, every day, Monday through Friday, they cook meals that are delivered to people at home. So it's not just the people that are in the building and stuff, so they have extras besides that.
Yeah, and it does host a number of events
Yeah.
in addition to its Monday through Friday operation.
And I've already had conversations with Kerry McCarthy. This is basically swap in place equipment. We're not redesigning the function of the kitchen. We're just taking the dishwasher out, putting a new one in that fits the space. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Cleve.
I see a couple of ovens. I assume they're replacing both ovens.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mel. Okay, the library facade. Everyone should be familiar with this since we did the walkthrough last couple weeks ago. $2 million, we're recommending it be a borrowed project. I know there's a lot of text there and a picture's worth 1,000 words. Obviously, you all saw it for yourselves, but facilities condition assessment was done in February. 2025. You met with the contractors, Zood and Zellos, and they were the ones who did that. So 22,000 square foot library, originally built in 1899, renovated multiple times, but most recently in 2001. As we talked about at our last meeting, the study that Oud and Zellos did found multiple persistent areas of water infiltration that were proven by what they call infiltration testing, or they basically watered the outside of the building to see where it was leaking. The envelope consultant confirmed that, and so components of the building's electrical, mechanical, plumbing systems have reached or exceeded their useful life. They do pose, or it poses a risk the way it is right now. Obviously, investments in fixing this are important to restore the building performance, boost energy efficiency, which came up as well during our tour, and ensuring the health and safety of the building and its occupants.
So Mr. Connolly has suggested that we contact Representative Rogers and Senator Rush to see if there's any opportunity at the state level for support for this project. And just by chance, Mr. Connolly and I were at the Coakley opening yesterday, and Clayton, you were there, and we got the representative's ear, and he did ask for the study information be sent to him. So we'll follow up with that, and we'll see if there's anything at the state level that can help support the $2 million cost of repair. Thank you for giving us the tour. It's a building, it's really interesting. If you look outside that building, or if you go inside the building, you would not know the extent of the damage that has been done to the wall sections, because they're not visible to the public in many ways. So pictures speak 1,000 words.
Mr. Chair, would you like us to send it to Mike Rush's office too, you said? Because I know we did.
Yeah, okay. That would be, I'm sure John would do that, but I think that makes sense, yeah.
All right, we can take care of that.
Any questions about the library?
Are we going to be doing it for the special this year? Because if we are, that doesn't give our state partners any time to work on state funding.
I don't, are you, what your question, are we going to wait to approve it at special?
Are we looking for the special for November 13th tentatively?
Yes, this is on
For
there.
the authorization to borrow that.
Yeah.
Not again, we wouldn't have to go out to borrow at that time.
Right.
Okay.
So we just get the authorization to borrow, and it's still, the representative, delegation would still have time to pursue any opportunities to help
Okay.
support that. Because the borrowing wouldn't be impacting until FY '27, I'm thinking?
Well, it all depends, it depends on how fast we start it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
if we start immediately, obviously we have to borrow immediately, but if there is a delay, then we
Yeah.
put that off.
Okay.
Any other questions? There we go.
Okay, the next project is fire turnout gear room design. This project requests funds for the architectural design of a new room for the storage of firefighting gear, PPE. The gear is currently located on the apparatus floor in various locations. It is exposed to diesel fumes, dust, moisture, sunlight. The purpose of this proposal is to design and implement a dedicated turnout gear room that provides safe, efficient, and compliant storage for firefighters' personal protective equipment, PPE, which would extend the life of our turnout gear. It would meet safety and regulatory standards, and the room will allow for proper gear storage to protect and maintain the turnout gear in a controlled environment to ensure it remains free from damage, contaminants, and wear. And that picture there just kind of shows the current gear rack with everything sort of just stacked on itself, and then that little parcel there, that would be where the new gear room would be located.
Yeah, but where are we going to put the reindeer?
On the roof.
Where are we going to put the reindeer? On the roof, permanently.
Is this something that other towns are doing as well? Sort of a-
So when this station was built, the gear standards were not to where they are today. The gear isn't supposed to be out in sunlight, it's not supposed to have other contaminants, which is the diesel fumes. Our gear actually off-gases after we wear it, so we've become very good at cleaning our gear. We have a gear washer that is made specifically for the gear. We have two gear dryers that are gonna be installed once the floor is finished next week. That'll help to dry our gear and keep it in better condition. So this is something that is put into all the new stations as they happen. Our station happens to be 20 plus, so.
If we built it today, we'd have one.
Exactly. Yep, they're all temperature controlled, they have dehumidification, it keeps the gear in a ready state.
So it should last longer and it'll kind of
It does, so
save on the back end.
our gear is limited to, our gear gets a lot of use just because of our call volume, but gear typically can last as long as 10 years, then it has to be replaced per NFPA.
And want it to last to 10 years, so.
Exactly.
Okay.
Gear is expensive.
And you got the placeholder for next year for the construction of the...
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Any questions about the gear room?
Okay, so one change since the last time we met was the cost of the ladder truck. We had 2.5 million in the plan last meeting, and we've been advised by the town manager that working with a few departments, just to bump that to 3 million, just for a couple of reasons. One being that there's the lead time of 3 to 3.5 years now to order a truck, or to actually accept delivery of a truck. So the recommendation is to, if we do borrow for this, to go a little heavier, go $3 million. And again, you only borrow what you need, so if bids come in less than that, we would only borrow what we need to do the project. But the other thing too is that outfitting fire trucks now are very expensive. The technology is increasing in price. We don't know what's gonna happen with any sort of tariffs or whatever, financial things. So we have bumped this to $3 million. The ladder truck that we currently have is 12 years old, has had several breakdowns over the past year that have put the truck out of service for months at a time. So the recommendation here from the staff to the committee is to get this on the plan for November's town meeting, get the authorization to borrow through town meeting, and get the order in, because it's gonna take us 3 years to get the truck.
Are there many, I'm just curious, what's the manufacturing look like? Are there many companies that do produce fire trucks, or is it pretty limited pool of?
We have a bunch in our area of manufacturers that are commonly used.
So there is competition.
Yes, there is, yep.
Okay.
And we're bound by the 30B
Yeah.
procurement.
Well, if we're gonna make a change, it's good that it's being done now and not in November. Any questions about the fire truck? Thank you for bringing it over for us to see earlier this month, Chief.
I think.
Yeah,
Ernie
just a
had one.
comment. I can't believe it's been 12 years. And I think, Kevin was certainly on the committee back then. 12 years has gone by like nothing. I remember, I think we paid 1.1 million for that truck 12 years ago. And God, it seems like yesterday that we just took delivery of it, and I can't believe it's, this one was on the books for years before we ended up buying it.
Mhm.
I think it was like 1.1 million we spent for that one.
Yeah.
Now it's 3 million.
Yep. Sign of the times.
Okay.
All right.
All right, next project is a new fire ambulance. This price tag did not change from our last meeting, so $650,000. We are recommending that this would be funded through free cash. We have in the capital plan the replacement of an ambulance every 4 years, with an older ambulance being put into reserve and the least serviceable ambulances put out to pasture. Timeline now to take a new ambulance delivery is 2 years, so it's a little better than a fire truck, but still not great. So again, we recommend going to town meeting in November and ordering the new fire ambulance and then expecting delivery. And in the meantime, I believe in the capital plan, we have an ambulance in each of the fiscal years except for one.
27 and 29.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we,
And 30.
yeah, 5, 7, exactly. 26, 27, no 28, 29, 30.
Okay. Question. No offset for the ambulance receipts?
Well, I think Jeff can address that, but I think ambulance receipts do go into the general fund, and essentially the ambulance receipts would be covering the costs.
Correct, yeah. So ambulance
Okay.
receipts are all general fund revenue.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mel, go ahead. Okay, the town does have one IT project for this year. It's called the Hyper-V system replacement, which is basically 3 servers plus the storage. So the town's virtual system configuration, known as Hyper-V, runs core applications including the town's finances, payroll, personnel, and permitting. The existing system was purchased in 2014. It's the Tyler suite and will be at the end of its life cycle. So, is that, no, 2014, I wasn't Tyler, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. This is the Hyper-V, so this doesn't have to do with Tyler. But the virtual system does run the core applications, including Tyler software. And we're recommending free cash for this one.
Any questions about the
Sorry,
system?
Mel, you go back one second.
All right,
Okay.
we can move on.
Okay, tasers, which, as we all know, we do lease our tasers. We do have in the capital plan $51,000 for each of the fiscal years per our lease agreement. $51,000 gets us the replacement of 20 tasers. Every officer is issued a taser. And the lease agreement is paid over time, which includes the maintenance and parts replacements as well as training cartridges.
Mike, excuse me, that lease agreement, that's the entire department. That 20 is the old system, that must have slipped through and I didn't catch it. But the 51,000 is, we replaced all of our tasers back in 2023, the entire department. What we used to do is we used to buy a third of the department, a third and a third. The problem is that Taser Axon, the company has changed their configuration over and over. So the original was a one-shot, the Taser 7 is a two-shot, the one that's out currently, Taser 10 is a 10-shot. So they're always changing it, and it's almost basically a planned obsolescence that they're dealing with. So that number there is part of the lease for all of the tasers. It was originally like around 250,000. This is the last year of that.
Oh, so okay, because we do have 51,000 in the capital plan going out from here, so.
Yeah, because at some point they're not gonna last, unfortunately. It's not like an item that, you know, they plan it so that you really kind of have to go back to them again. It's like a software as a service. They won't support it after a certain amount of time, and usually that's around a 5-year time frame. They stop supporting Taser 7, then they'll want you to buy into Taser 10. It's unfortunate, but they're the only game in town. They're the only ones that make tasers, is Taser.
So 51,000 gets you the whole department, which is about 60, I think.
Yes, now it's 68, because we have a couple of
okay.
spares.
So we need to take 20 off there. So then it's 51,000 this year, and then you wait 3 years and you do 51,000 again, basically. It's
Well, the total cost in 2023, the original lease was, I think it was 250,000. And then it was paid out over a 5-year term.
Oh, okay, so to get them for 3 years, you pay 51,000 every year. Okay?
Correct.
So it's just an ongoing expense.
Okay.
It's basically an ongoing expense. We talked, originally when we talked about this, there was talk about putting it in the budget, but it just stayed in capital for various reasons.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And then the taser that the officer has, they're the same for each officer?
Correct. If
No
we
different
had
models.
continued on the model of buying them in different tranches, then we would have had different models, and that would have created training problems.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so everybody switched to Taser 7, which at the time was the newest version of it, which was a 2-shot, which, to be quite honest with you, tasers a lot of time aren't effective. Heavy clothing, things like that. Now they've come out with a Taser 10, which is a 10-shot, 10 individual shots, so you get 5 shots instead of 2. So the technology's moving forward all the time.
Any other questions on tasers? No demonstration, just questions.
Okay, next up, we've got the Public Works Department. So starting with sidewalk repair and replacement, $950,000, recommending to use of free cash. The town of Norwood in general has about 140 miles of sidewalks. The prominent material used is called hot mix asphalt, HMA. So just a couple of historical facts here, we figured for these bullets. So back in 2005, town meeting authorized $500,000 towards the resurfacing of 17 miles of sidewalks. In 2016, another $250,000 was authorized to resurface 6.6 miles of sidewalks. And now, in FY26, $950,000 is sufficient to surface 13 miles of HMA sidewalk and reconstruct about 0.4 miles of cement concrete sidewalks. So this is this year, this is a new project added to the capital plan, but we do have 3 years worth of this year and the next 2 years, we have this project each of the 3 years. This year it's 950,000, and then the next 2 years, we're saying 700,000 each of the 2 years.
So the board, on Mr. Ryan's recommendation, the Board of Selectmen did approve this capital expense, and it's good timing because, Mark, I believe we finished our 5-year, advanced plan for paving the roads.
This year is the last year.
This year's the last year, so the thinking here is now with that done, we can advance some of the sidewalk work that hasn't been really funded, at a good level for a number of years. So.
Correct. That is correct.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Any offset, if we're doing a road, my understanding is after the road and we put in the sidewalks, that is then can be offset by Chapter 90 funds?
Well, Chapter 90 funds can be used for sidewalks, but only on the roads you're repaving,
Yeah,
right? Chapter 90 won't allow you to just
no,
go around.
that's what I'm,
random
so
sidewalks.
if we're using these sidewalks, any of them being done with the construction of new roads?
We haven't determined what roads we're doing or what sidewalks we're doing. We just know the quantity that this funding will provide, and we'll have to work on that, combining it with, it'll be its own separate project, the sidewalks. Maybe we'll dedicate some money towards roads we're doing under Chapter 90, but predominantly it's going to be outside the Chapter 90 work.
Okay, thank you.
A question. Mark, do you know how many streets in town don't have sidewalks? And do you look at adding them? I mean, Union Street where I live doesn't have one. And it's very busy in the morning and the evenings on that street. And a lot of people do walk there. Do you ever look to see about adding sidewalks?
Yeah, so the state has a program called Complete Streets, which looks to identify safety improvements like that. We did a project on Short and Moore Street a couple of years ago that added sidewalks where none existed, and the state helped out. That was $400,000. Right now, we have an application in to do George Willard Parkway, because there's no sidewalk there. That would lead you to the Cleveland School. We're waiting to hear results of that application. But we have Union Street and Summer Street do have sidewalk extensions on the Complete Streets plan, which has multiple projects. So we do have them in the plan.
Okay.
Maybe we'll not wait for the Complete Streets and do a sidewalk here and there that doesn't exist on the street under this project.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good for sidewalks?
Okay, next project is loader number 1, Highway Division of the DPW. This is an operating budget. I think we already bought this, right, Mark?
We have it.
Okay, so this is just on more FYI than anything. For town meeting, obviously this won't be part of town meeting because it's funded in the operating budget. It's just more because you could see what we looked at the other day when we did the walkthrough outside. So actually, we can probably just skip this slide since it's already funded. Truck number 47 is a salt truck, so I think we saw this one as well during our tour. This one is a free cash project. We're recommending $326,000. This will replace a 2007 Salter sander truck. It gets utilized during all snow and ice seasons, and road salt and liquid magnesium chloride, also known as liquid salt. And it's also used year-round. It can be used to haul material and other things. So if there's any questions on that, oh, you can go back, Mel, sorry. If there's any questions on that one.
Okay.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Mel, sorry.
So we're gonna be able to take that holding tank, or whatever you would call it, right? That's gonna come out and be able to,
Holding thing?
on the truck.
We won't use that any longer. That tank up top,
Yeah,
the new units will have their own system in place,
okay,
and they can come out in off winter.
right.
Can be
That-
used,
That's what I was looking for,
Yeah,
yes.
right,
So
year round.
they can be used for year round. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. So the next project is Route 1 Water Main Improvement Design for $500,000. And one small change is we wanted to make a recommendation that the funding source for this be the MWRA grant loan that we usually put in each year as a complement to the water main cleaning and lining that we do for $4.5 million. That project you'll see in a moment for next year. So we're recommending that this be paid through the MWRA grant and loan and taking a year off from doing the auxiliary cleaning and lining that we would normally do, and just do this instead. So what this project is, the Route 1 and University Avenue intersection is scheduled by Mass DOT for widening beginning in fiscal '28. MassDOT requires all utilities to upgrade their respective infrastructure before the intersection work is completed. The 24-inch town water main that carries water from the MWRA to our water system is 75 years old and made of cast iron, so it needs to be upgraded with a more durable, ductile iron pipe that will last at least 100 years. If upgrades are not made, a moratorium by MassDOT will prevent upgrades after the intersection work is completed for at least 5 years. So now is the time to upgrade our main water transmission line to ensure water supplies are maintained and avoid any moratorium. So sounds like we kind of have to do this, right, Mark? And we're just kind of recommending that the funding source be that no interest MWRA grant loan.
Can we fix the title of this? Because this is not design, this is actually doing the work, right?
This is the design.
Design.
So there is,
Design?
yes, correct. In the plan, there is the construction piece to this that we added to the plan.
Okay, sorry. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's 2 years later. Okay.
Yes.
And the 500,000 that you referenced, so on our plan, we would remove MWA cleaning and lining, MWA grant loan, the 500,000
So that
from
is
there.
that is not programmed for fiscal '26
Right.
in the spreadsheet.
Right.
But it does pick up again next year.
Right,
and then on.
right.
Yes.
It's just that, and it's not the 4.5 million water improvement program for.
That's the next project we'll talk about, which is a different funding source.
Okay, but there's a couple places where we refer to this as being the chamber, the connection chamber. We can change the title just to make sure it's consistent. that
Correct.
Now it's the water main, it's not the chamber.
Yeah, that per our last meeting, in the report and everything else, it should not refer to it as a chamber anymore. It should say as water, it should say, as it's titled here, Water Main Improvement Design and Construction.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, here's the aforementioned water improvement program with our favorite picture there. So this is every year we have the $4.5 million program. This is year 6 of the 10-year plan. Helpful device is the year of the plan is also the fiscal year, so 26, we're year 6. So cast iron pipes without a lining, we do so much. Mark, how much do we actually get done a year? Is it
Close to 20,000 feet,
20,000 feet a year?
close to, yeah.
That's great. And this would be a water rates borrowing, so it's not general fund borrowing, but over time, that buildup on the left there, you see that's tuberculation, builds up on interior walls, and basically it reduces fire flow capacities and discolored water and kind of just general griminess, so afterwards, obviously, it looks a lot better and tastes a lot better.
So the plan is to do a 2-year pause on this. What are the 2 years that we're pausing?
28 and 29. So we do year 6 and 7 of this, then we have the water tank borrowing that we anticipate going into effect at the close of that project.
Okay.
At that point, we'll take that 2-year
2
pause.
years off, and then come back for the last, 3 years?
Last 3 years after that,
Last 3
correct.
2 years off, 3 years, okay.
So, I'm sorry, I haven't got the latest plan, so FY '28 and FY '29, we're gonna zero out the water improvement program for those years. In order,
4.5 should
Yeah.
be zeroed out.
zero those out, because those are the years we're pausing in order to, because that's.
Potentially, again, that's conceptually the plan. That's
Right,
that's
for the tank
still- yeah.
borrowing, yeah.
And we're back for 30 then?
Correct.
For
Okay,
purposes of a 5-year plan, that's what we're doing.
all right, I'll make that change on the spreadsheet just to zero out 28 and 29.
Just put a little footnote next to it too, so.
Yeah, it's a placeholder basically to things from up.
Sorry, I should have put
That's
that.
okay. All right, any other questions on? Okay, go ahead, Mel. Renovation of the bathrooms at the lower Balch, $300,000, recommending free cash for this. So the bathroom and storage area around Elliott Field has reached its useful life, has begun to fail. There is currently significant damage to the roof, windows, and the structure itself. The storage unit and bathroom are two separate buildings, and we'd like to see those buildings combined. I know Sam's here, if there's any specific questions. I think at a previous meeting, it was asked, how will this new investment be protected? And I think you were able to answer that, Sam. You said there was gonna be, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, I mean, we do have security cameras down there. We have ran into a lot of vandalism with this building in particular in the past. And then we already did a design and feasibility study 2 years ago. And some of those designs and plans, they did implement certain security measures, such as, for instance, like there are windows on there that have been broken in the past. There wouldn't be necessarily windows, it would be more of like air vents and ducts. And things along those lines. I know there was talks about a new locking system, but we would just keep a regular key and lock just so no one gets stuck in there.
What's the schedule for it being opened and locked, Sam? It's not open all the time, I take it?
No. So what we typically do is we give either the program instructors or the teams keys to access the bathrooms. It's their responsibility to open and lock once they're done with the facility.
May I suggest that you give a couple of keys to the bulk school staff,
Yeah, absolutely.
just in case when they go outside for their
Right.
day?
Right, absolutely. No, that works, especially with Bernie Cooper Park being right there as well. If they, venture out there throughout the day,
Okay.
it's a little closer. Yeah.
I'm almost sure
Right,
that
yeah.
Diana Ferrara would be grateful for
Yeah,
that.
most definitely. We can make that happen.
Okay.
And just for the record, it's a 30-year-old building, just
Yeah.
mid-90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
A while.
And then just to sort of wrap up the presentation, we do have 3 more slides. They're all operating budget projects, similar to the one we talked about a few minutes ago for DPW. So we do get 4 police cruisers a year. I think you all saw one last meeting, what they look like and how they're outfitted, but this is an operating budget project. Same with the pavement plan, which is on the next slide. That one is Chapter 90, as was mentioned earlier, plus operating budget, a total of $1.3 million for pavement. And then the last operating project is the transportation vans for the schools. Three vans cost $260,200. This is for the special education fleets. So those are the last slides I have on fiscal '26. The last slide is just a thank you slide, basically.
Just go back one slide.
Sure. Mel, can you go back one to the pavement?
Yeah, so on Chapter 90, are we getting additional Chapter 90 funds from the recent?
With a fair share?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get additional, what did we get, Mark, 280,000, something like that? Yeah, we did.
Is that annual or just a one-time?
Hopefully annual.
Okay.
We got the one time, we'll certainly get it again for one more year, but again, not knowing what that amount's gonna be.
Right.
But after that, I'm not sure what the plan is.
So 280,000 on top of what we normally get?
Correct.
Yeah, but what is the amount we normally get?
Around 850,000.
All right, so brought us up to over $1 million. Okay. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so that ends this presentation.
All right.
I think we kind of covered, sorry, Sean.
Mr. Joseph from the school ITs here. Do we have any questions on the IT? There's none for the fall, but we have some in the spring, and there's an earmark there, so if we had any questions for him about the 5-year.
Yeah, you don't have any on this current
We don't.
November session, but you do have the network refresh for FY '27,
Yeah.
29, and 30, and the wireless access refresh for the high school, 70,000 and 27.
Yeah.
Music lab refresh, is that IT, or is that's not,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
the music?
Yeah.
Oh, it is, okay.
The only thing they might want to say is for the 5-year plan, though, so the report.
Computers.
We could actually just.
And we opted to keep the school IT still in the spring.
Yeah,
Especially this year, so we got spring approval, so that's why nothing's in FY '26.
Right.
And then there's a couple of earmarks that may replace the 2 that are in there for FY '27, so it could be that we don't even need those amounts if the earmarks come through.
That's correct.
okay, excellent.
Mr. Chair, it was a good suggestion from the finance director that we might want to switch the order of the next 2 items so that we can actually talk about the 5-year plan before we talk about the debt, so that the department heads might be able to.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. So it's relevant to sort of where we are anyway on the agenda. So What I've put before you tonight is the full report for the Capital Outlay Committee's 5-year plan from fiscal 26 to fiscal 30. This is the report that we actually distribute to town meeting at town meeting every year. It has sort of it has information on every project in the 5-year plan, its funding source for the fiscal 26 projects. It calls out the funding sources. It doesn't do that for the future projects because we'll have to see what cash is like in the future. But it does give a good description of each of the projects in the out years as well. So while we have everybody here, if there's any questions or any specific projects in the overall 5-year plan, and also what the report shows mirrors what's on the screen there, which is the spreadsheet version of the 5-year plan.
And that was given to us in our,
Yes. I have two copies here. I made 2 copies. Actually, Mel made 2 copies, including these. This is the full packet. Would you like one, Ed?
Yes, please.
Keep that, please.
have anything like that in this mess. Thank you.
Anybody want the other one?
There.
Well, one of the things about the 5-year plan that's, you know, we're focused on FY '26. We need the approval and the funding sources to go to town meeting in November. The 5-year plan, we still have another meeting, September, when we formally vote on the 26 plan, and we can include the entire plan at that time. So even if there are no questions this evening, folks still have an opportunity to look at the 5-year plan and come back here in September and have further inquiry. But I think one of the things that we've noted, Eric's been pretty good at this too, is noting that when we have a design plan listed, you guys are doing a good job making sure that you've put a place marker in there for an actual project, construction project. I think this particular plan is pretty consistent in that regard.
Thank you.
I mean, you do have, obviously, some very large projects coming up over the next several years. And, you know, we are looking at that figure there of $40 million in, is that 29, 28?
28.
Yeah. 29.
Is that the town hall year? That's the town hall year.
That's the town hall year.
Basically do the town
Yeah,
hall,
town
otherwise
hall.
it's fairly level.
Yeah, yeah.
We just had that in one Outlay project.
There is, the year prior, FY '28 does have a study or design for the town hall the following year.
Right. So maybe the committee work is to, between now and when we meet again, if there are any further questions about we entertain any now, but if there are any other questions about the 5-year plan, we still have an opportunity to bring them forward at the September meeting.
All right, well, so I want to say thank you to everybody for coming, department heads. Thank you for being here tonight. Good job.
Thank you.
Do you want to stay for the finance discussion? Do
What is that? You can't.
you want to stay for the finance discussion?
Sure, why not?
Mike, is the fire chief still there?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Fire chief's still here.
No, it's not.
Yes, Ernie, go ahead.
I see.
See you guys, thank you.
Ernie, he's here.
Oh, okay. Mr. Chairman, can I just ask one question to the fire chief?
Certainly.
Going back to the presentation, and the years are starting to run together for me here. The ambulance that we've put in, what's the life expectancy of the ambulances? It seems that we just purchased 2. Remember we bought 2 at the same time because we were worried about how long they took? What's the life expectancy of these ambulances? It seems now that we're replacing 1 or 2. I thought we just had 2 brand new ones.
So, yes, that is correct. We have 2 that are 2 years old. One has 65,000 miles, the other one has 62,000 miles. Because of the hospital not being here, obviously our mileage has increased tremendously. We take a lot of patients in and out of the city. We also keep one as a backup spare. That one has 104,000 miles on it. That's So this one here will get into that rotation, although it'll be 2 years before we get it. So I would recommend that we don't, and the reason I have them staggered is so that we don't get them both at the same time, so that we can prolong them a little bit longer than, because those two will both come up pretty much at the same time for replacement. If we can stagger them in off years, it'll help the town.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
All right. Mel, do you want to pull up the debt stuff? Thank you. Mr. Chair, if it's okay, can I turn it over to the CFO for the debt?
Sure.
And this is for members, at your stations, was the debt schedule paperwork.
All right, so everybody should have it in front of them. There's a lot of information here, but I'll try to be efficient and get through this pretty quickly, and then we can ask any questions. Just what's been provided to you is, as Mike went through, the proposed capital funding for FY26 of each project. I did throw out there 3 debt schedules, again, for information purposes only. Of note is, it's really to show you what the difference between a level debt service and level principal is. That's pretty important in the financing world. A lot of towns, and I'll say this, I won't say they make a mistake, but they focus on the short term, and they look at a level debt service for a cheaper initial route. But if you look at the totals, level principal will always be cheaper in the long run. So that's just something to keep in mind. Again, a lot of towns, when you're looking at your debt budget increasing, they're gonna look at the smaller amount. I'd like you to focus on the total cost of the overall projects in the end.
What is most of our debt generally?
A lot of it's level debt service.
But it's level.
Yeah, it is.
It's Coakley's level debt, isn't it?
Coakley's level
Yeah.
debt, yes.
The high school level is level principal.
I believe, yes, the high school level principal, yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, well, you pay less overall, but you do have the hit, the higher amounts earlier on.
Correct, and I think that was one of the big discussions with Coakley, was the impact, the immediate impact.
Right.
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 So again, these are just for illustrative purposes. Again, I did put in 4.5% interest rate. That's probably a little bit high. Again, if we get to the point where we authorize these borrowing, and then when we go out to borrow, obviously it will be a market rate. We do anticipate interest rates to come down. Again, that's been said all year. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe it happens in September. Maybe that trickle, going into next year as well. So these are kind of, lack of a better term, worst case scenarios in terms of the interest rate and then the actual cost.
Okay.
So as Mike went through, there is the next is the listing of the actual projects and the funding source.
Is it next slide?
Yeah, next slide, I think,
Next
Mel,
slide, Mel.
one more. Keep going to the 2 more, I believe. Get through those. Yep, 1 more. There you go. All right, so a couple of notes here. So obviously we have 3 items that we'd like to get authorization for borrowing on. The school roof repairs, which is the Willett School, the facade library, and the new ladder. A couple of notes, and I did make this on here for the school project. This is one that we'd authorize borrowing for 25 years. There is still some uncertainty on the Coakley project in terms of if we'll have funds left over, and what we're allowed to do with those funds. So one of the caveats here is we'd like the authorization to borrow, but the actual funding may come from excess Coakley proceeds, if they are. Again, to double caveat that, we have to make sure that that project is closed out.
Right.
It's not closed, yes, the building may be open, but there's still a lot of work to do. There's some residual work that we'll have to hold on to, so that may not be another year down the road. So that's why we look for that authorization to borrow.
When would you need to know about Coakley to make a decision on this?
That's, well, I think if Paul was saying that he wants to get use of it for next year, again, we can do what's called an advance of funds in lieu of borrowing if we have cash, which we do in the bank. So we have some flexibility on that. So we can probably buy at least a year out of that, or at least until the end of the school year
Right.
to determine that. So we have some time. It depends on the Coakley project and what else they may be using those funds for.
Or we have more roofs coming up, we could use it for the next one.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
There would still be some red tape we have to go through with the state, with our bond council. That would transfer debt exclusion to regular purpose debt. So there's some work that Alex and myself will have to do with the bond. So there's a lot more behind the scenes, but just for a funding thought, that's what we're thinking.
Is it is the responsibility of town meeting, I mean, is that a town meeting process, or is that something that we internally do and then come back to town meeting to fund the projects from this approved
Yeah,
excess?
town meeting will have to make a vote on the change of the use of funds.
Change of use
Yes,
of fund,
Correct.
okay.
Would it still be excluded?
No,
It would not be excluded.
so that's the other thing that we'd have to talk with, Tony, and to see if you want to move forward with the debt exclusion on the roofs going forward, and keep it excluded. But right now, when we're talking to bond council, they said if you go out and repurpose this money, it's not excluded debt. So come off the debt exclusion and onto your general fund borrowing.
So you could do a debt exclusion vote to repurpose what we've already offered.
My understanding is yes, you could.
do that.
Yes.
Okay, is it good interest rate? Is that one reason?
It's a 3.8, I think, is 3.81% is the,
I have to look it up, but yeah, I know, I definitely know it's under 4.
Yeah.
I thought 8
I'm
was
pretty sure it's
less.
3.8,
Can look
yeah.
that up.
I mean, if theoretically interest rates came in below that, we wouldn't be a good idea, perhaps.
Correct.
So we'd probably just
Wait for that, yeah.
wipe it out and then.
Got one question. MSBA, funding back. When MSBA does a project, they usually hold on to the end money. When we get that money back, can we use that to offset, or does it have to go?
So that's why I was saying it has to be, the project has to
Yeah,
be
okay.
closed out, so all of the MSBA funding will be received.
Yeah,
The offset will be what's left over of the borrowed proceeds.
okay.
Is there a reason why we borrow 30 years on 2 million and 25 on 3?
Yeah, so normally you would borrow 30 years on the roof, but the Coakley was only borrowed for 25. So if we're going to repurpose the funds, it has to be for a like tenor.
How about how?
Yeah. So that would be the 25 years. So a normal, again, the library facade, a normal building project is a 30-year borrowing, so that's why that's in there. And then just on the ladder truck, we have a note there. Again, the increase went from 2.5 to 3 million on Tony's recommendation, but it's also, there's some thought there that we can work with the manufacturer at the time. They may have a cash payment upfront discount. I know I've done that in the past where if you paid, a third or even the full price, you got a significant discount. So we'd be looking for the authorization to borrow, but in the back of our minds, we may be using some free cash or may request the use of free cash to pay for the engine, for the ladder, or a portion of it. Just more of a kind of a note to be aware of. So if something comes up, it's not like, hey, we didn't think about that going forward.
Tony talked one time about establishing maybe a special purpose stabilization fund for that purpose, maybe for, since these are not for delivery for several years, that we could maybe establish a fund, put money in that fund, and then use it to cash advance the payments for the fire truck. Is that something that?
Potentially, we could do that, or we can just make
Or
an
just
allocation of
use
free cash. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which would probably be the easier approach.
Correct. So those are the 3 borrowing projects that we've kind of recommended. The rest of them, free cash, again, the question was asked earlier. So right now, our balance of free cash is $11 million that's sitting there, that's unused from our last certification of the $29 million. We are in the process of closing books this week. We will be submitting our balance sheet to DOR, so I'm not going to go on record with any number, but based on my recommendations on the use of free cash, I do anticipate our number to be higher than the roughly $3.3 million that we're going to recommend as free cash spent here.
What did we spend on free cash last year for capital?
I believe it's $9 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Considerably less than that.
Correct. Again, like I said, we definitely, we were over on revenue and under on expenses, so another good year
Well, that's good.
operating wise. But there are a couple of questions out there, so I don't want to come out with a number, but again, it will be more than the $4 million, roughly $4 million here of cash that we're looking to use.
It will not be anywhere near the building permit free cash.
No, exactly.
Bonanza we've been getting last
No, we did
couple
not
of
see any
cycles.
$10 or $12 million over budget revenue line items. And as we mentioned, there's one project on there, free cash revolving fund. I think Mike did a good job of explaining that. That kitchen is used for both purposes, so it is a justifiable use of the revolving fund.
And 25,000 is built into this model, not the 30,
Correct,
right?
correct. 25 is yes. 25 is in each.
Right.
Then we have the operating budget, and then the water rates, again, we discussed that, so the plan would be the 4.5 million for 2 more years. The water tank project is then completed. That borrowing will go on the books. We'll pause for 2 years, and then restart the water rates. And again, that's all through the enterprise fund, so that is user charges that we'll have to be looking at going forward, projecting out.
So you've got, in the blue highlight there, the projected general fund debt schedule, library facade FY '27, and ladder truck for '28. It's just because of the timing of the delivery of that truck?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And again, that proposed is just,
Right.
it's me putting numbers out there.
Right.
Just to be prepared, because Mr. Fleming did ask the question. So the proposed year-over change is against the middle section. It's not year-over-year on that blue section. So it's comparing us to our current known debt schedule.
Yep.
So you take the total in the blue column and compare that to the total in the previous year in the general.
The white column, correct, yes. Yeah, sorry for the confusion on that, but.
I was expecting the 2 columns to match.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
No,
why is it going up when it should be
Yeah.
going down?
I just wanted to make sure we saw that, okay, if we do nothing, our debt comes off by $365,000 this year. By putting on the library facade, that's only gonna come off by $208,000. Then we put the ladder truck on, so we're going up $330,000 instead of down $156.
I see. Okay.
A little bit confusion, but again, all these are projections anyway, so those numbers aren't real until we get down to the actual borrowing.
And the roof repairs you haven't included in here.
I've not included roof repairs in there, so again, the purpose, so the next page on the exempt from Proposition 2.5. So at some point, there will be money left over within those funds. That's where I'm anticipating the roof money to come from. And I did put some comments in there of when we're retiring the high school debt.
34. Or it's 34 and 35.
Yeah, 35, we'll see the end of it. And then the following schedules are the same thing, either 2 schedules, again, more information than you probably want to read, but
No?
it is the
That's good.
enterprise fund debt schedule, same methodology in terms of the blue section. And then there is another enterprise fund debt schedule that takes out the water improvement program, if that's what we choose to do.
Right.
So again, a lot of information in there. Obviously, I know we want to focus on this year, but I think we've got a pretty good plan for the 18,541,350 that's proposed as of now.
Yep. Any questions for the finance director? Again, this is not a voting meeting, so we have time to peruse, and when we do take our final vote, of course, the expectation is that the committee recommend a funding source, and this information puts us in pretty good shape to go forward in September with recommendations in that regard. Everybody okay? Any questions? Yeah, okay. All right, so Mike, we did the debt schedule. Did we do item B?
Yes, that
We
was.
did. That was just the spreadsheet. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're at draft
Draft E,
26,
actually,
30.
The report was the 5-year plan in narrative form.
Which everybody has.
Everyone's got it electronically, and
Right.
if you need it a different way, let me know, I can print it for you.
No, and so that positions us well for in our September meeting, if there are particularly any questions about the out-year plans.
Yes.
We have the descriptions in that document, which we can review and bring back to our September meeting.
Perfect.
So that takes care of draft 26 to 30 capital improvement plan. So, fun stuff now. Schedule and agenda for future meeting, and I think my sense is, we've had several meetings, they've been good meetings, the information's been really good, that we can target our September meeting for a formal vote. I think that timing works out well. Our colleagues from the FinCom, I think you'll have opportunity to, have discussions, brief your colleagues on the commission regarding the status of the plan, and I can do the same for our Board of Selectmen. I know the schools probably have an agenda item too on the capital outlay at some point too in September. So I think we're well in hand to schedule our next meeting for September to formally put forward answer our questions, any questions we have, but we should be in good shape to vote on a plan. So looking at calendar, September. You still with us, Ernie? He's there.
Yes, still here.
All right. We'll look for dates in September when Ernie Pajikowski is not in Maine. That's all right. Just personally, I'm out of the country and returning on the 13th of September. But I was hoping we could look at something for the at earliest the week of the 15th of September.
Check to see when the school committee meeting is.
Yeah.
School
They
committee
usually vote it.
meeting for me
I
would
actually
be
have
on the
capital outlay
16th.
On the
written
15th.
down on the 15th.
I'm sorry?
I actually have capital outlay down on the 15th of September.
Oh my goodness, I was looking at August. 15th of September?
Did we do a placeholder for that?
I think we
I think we did, we
Yeah.
must have, yeah.
Would that be a vote?
Well, I just created
We
it
would,
for
we
you.
would vote, the plan would be that the committee here will take a vote.
Does the school committee have to vote?
Doesn't have
before
to, the Board of Selectmen we've done both, we've
Okay.
voted before.
that? Just as long as they voted before?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, will you need either myself or Mr. Haggerty at that one, because we are both at a finance conference that
I'm
week?
thinking not,
Can provide any information
Yeah.
before that, so,
we can swing Tony in here too.
yeah.
Remember
The
him.
information might change that.
That's fine.
If there's questions about the library, I would need to address them before then, just because I will also be out of the state.
Okay,
I'll be remote that week too.
all right. No, I don't think so. I think Mike and Tony will be able to guide us with any questions on the projects and financial side at that point. We're not bringing the department directors back in here again.
If anybody has any questions between now and then, feel free, I can pass it along, get an answer, bring it to
Yeah.
the meeting.
Yeah.
I just checked, the school committee's actually meeting on the 10th, so maybe I can get it on for the 10th for them.
Yeah, and I'll request, I'll put some information. I'm not here for the Board of Selectmen meeting. Oh, actually, it's the,
They're
Ninth.
on the ninth, yeah.
9th and 30th, I think, are our meetings, right?
Oh, not the 23rd? You skipped?
Oh, what is it? Oh, it is the 23rd, thank you, 9th and 23rd. I'll talk to you, Mike, about getting on the agenda for the Board of Selectmen, just, to get this information, and the board at that point can make their own decision as to whether or not they want to formally vote on it or wait until they approve all the warrants for the November town
Okay.
meeting.
Great.
They can go either way. Typically, I think the board waits until the warrant committee vote to formally vote on the plan.
Okay.
But we can schedule a briefing on the first meeting in October. I'll work that out with you and Tony.
Okay. It looks like Melanie just confirmed that on the 15th, this room's available 6:30, so we could be, if we want to confirm that tonight, we're good.
So moved.
Excellent. 6:30 is our next meeting,
September 15th.
September 15th at 6:30 PM, Finance Commission room. In terms of other meetings, I think typically what we might do after we have a vote, I think we may have another meeting just to, trying to remember, I don't know if we did, Mike. Sometimes we have a meeting well, I think what we do is we may not meet, but we will at least communicate to the committee. We have a formal presentation that goes before town meeting, and we'll be sure to share that with committee members. A sense that we usually don't meet for that, we just accept comments through member input through email and such.
And I think we're actually ahead of schedule this year with the report, so that
Yeah.
we don't need to meet just for the report, like we did that last year.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Right, and, yeah, and we're not, in September the 15th gives us good, that's, we've had years in past where we've had to meet right up to the very, start of the warrant votes for the Board of Selectmen for the town meeting, so we're really on a nice schedule here. So, September 15th, 6:30 PM, we'll be back here. With that, our business here
Motion
is
to
closed.
adjourn?
Second.
All right, we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Pachakowski?
Yep.
Yes? Eric?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes?
Everybody. It's unanimous. No abstentions.
How about that?